There's only one reason why we do this eBay reselling thing. Whether you're selling on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, it doesn't even matter. Even Amazon. There's only one reason why you're doing it. You can say you enjoy the thrill of the hunt. You can say that reselling is your passion. But at the end of the day, we talk about all these different metrics. And if you're not doing it for the money, then what are you doing it for? If you're not doing it for the money, then what are you doing it for? And that's the bottom line. And that's how you keep score in this game. You know, it shouldn't matter to you how many impressions or page views you have. That just kind of tells a story more than anything else. If you even think that eBay has accurate traffic reports, which I have my doubts. It wouldn't surprise me with all the problems we've seen on the platform that the traffic is not where it should be. But yet, we see video after video. Heck, I'm even guilty of it myself, where we tend to focus on things that really aren't important. You know, what does it matter what your sell-through rate is if you're not making money? What does it matter what your ROAS is if you're not making money? And, you know, thankfully, of all the glitches that we deal with on eBay, there's one thing that eBay hasn't failed me on yet. And that is sending me, it used to be a daily deposit, now it's weekly. I have a weekly deposit. And I remember back when, I think it was like 2019, 2019 was when I went on board to manage payments on the beta program. But in 2020, when folks were yelling and screaming about PayPal, losing PayPal to manage payments and how eBay is going to screw it up, they have no experience, this, that, and the other thing. And I was even doubtful myself that they'd be able to pull it off. Very, very cautiously optimistic, even though I had utilized managed payments for a good solid 8 months before they made everyone change over. And at the time, people were just panicking, like, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. And it works. And it has not failed me yet. They have not missed a payment yet. Now, they may miss on some reports. They may not get it right with the reporting, but who cares? As long as you are getting paid by eBay, all the other stuff really shouldn't matter to you either. And I think for too many people, we get caught up in the minutia of doing the business and we lose sight of why we do it in the first place. And yeah, I guess there's a few people out there who truly could care less about the money and they do it to pass time. And those people are few and far between, as far as I'm concerned. The majority of people out there that really watch these videos and really are trying to get nuggets of information from these various channels, such as mine or any other one, at the end of the day, they want to see the money in their account from their sales, from their efforts. And not enough people talk about that, you know, and maybe I think that there's some channels out there, and I'm just saying it, just, of course, not putting anyone out on blast, but simply just putting it out there as it is. I think there's a lot of people who really don't want to have that discussion like what I'm having right now, telling you guys that it's about the money. Bottom line. And you could say the same thing about YouTubers. I mean, after a certain amount of time, a new YouTuber is doing it for free until they get to 1,000 subs. And then it's another revenue source. It's another revenue source that people tend to look at and think it's as an opportunity to maybe make some money. Now, once you get to that point, different YouTubers take it to different levels, but it all sort of becomes about the money, about the views, about the money. And eBay is no different. And who's to blame anyone for trying to make as much as they can, utilizing the time they put into, whether it's eBay or YouTube? And that should be your focus as well. How much money can you get into your store, and how much money can you get out of it? Forget everything else. Don't get caught up on all the other stuff that we tend to focus on. like for instance, on the live on Friday, a lot of people were getting kind of bothered at the fact that I was talking a lot. I continue to talk a lot about offsite ads. And I'm talking about it because I'm learning more about it, getting more third party information off the record, we'll just say, about it, and understanding more about eBay and where they're coming from. And it's important that I think serious resellers understand where the opportunities are to make the money. And that's why you don't see me get caught up too much on videos on impressions, or let's analyze impressions, or let's analyze page views. Let's analyze this and analyze that. What does it matter? I've had what I've thought have been pretty bad weeks when you're looking at your numbers, but yet I'm getting paid pretty decent money. And even this week hasn't been very good, but I'm confident that eBay is not going to forget to pay me, even if it is less than what I made last week, which is what it's kind of trending at so far. But hopefully we can have a solid couple days here. But yeah, that's kind of the message that I wanted to talk about. And also on the live, people will constantly tell me, and even in the comments and also on the live, hey, I'm doing everything right. I do the photos, I do the title, I do the listing to where I have everything complete in the item specifics. I think everything's good. I'm competitive within my niche. But they say they've done everything right. From what point? They're saying that they've done everything right after they've bought the item. But you neglect to understand that buying your items, what you choose to buy and at what price point, is probably the biggest part of doing it right. But yet, I think people want to forget that, or maybe not think that that has a huge part of it. The moment you buy that item is when you start to process that item to the time you actually sell it, ship it, and 30 days later, after the buyer receives the item, the money's yours. And every step in between. And you can't really say you're doing everything right if you didn't do the first part right. And I hate to be mean about it, but it's just being real. I think Jenna scolds me a lot because I say things like that, and I point out really directly about certain things, and she thinks I'm coming off in a kind of a mean way. And it's just really me being real, being just to the point and real. No point in blowing smoke that there's a lot of people who think that they do it right, and you might be a lot better lister than I am. You might do a lot more things than I do, but you can't forget that first part. That's the most important thing. Buying good stuff at a good price point. Now, it doesn't have to be high ASP. High sell-through rate is more important from what I've seen, but high ASP tends to kind of go hand in hand with demand and high sell-through rate. Now, that's not the rule. I mean, there's a lot of items that I've seen that have a high price point that don't really have demand, and you're waiting for the unicorn buyer. But in general, the higher the value of the item, the more demand it tends to get. And then, of course, there's the other side of the coin where you have lower value items tend to not have as much demand because they're just easy to come by, except for things that do have high demand for whatever reason, like, cell phone chargers and things of that nature. But then you have a lot of competition because they're easier to get, and you got a lot of like cheap overseas sellers that sell them for dirt cheap plus shipping. So I think that's the focus. The takeaway from this is that your goal should be to make sure, if you want to say that you're doing everything right, start doing it right from the beginning and stop worrying about every step in between that you can't control. The idea that eBay is shadow banning people, the idea that eBay somehow wants you to fail because you're not selling high ASP items, that maybe you're being shadow banned or not being seen, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. I was having a conversation on Instagram with Tommy this evening. And can you imagine the number of people that sell items under $10 an item? How many items there are on the platform? Can you imagine if eBay one day shut them all down and just turned them off? How much that would be a hit to eBay's bottom line? Now, they are trying to move towards higher ASP items, just like they're trying to move towards higher, they have different levels of buyers based on how much they spend. It is obvious to me that eBay is looking at different sellers by how much they put into their platform, and very much so it could also mean, and this is just me thinking out loud, could also mean that they're looking at your ASP. But going back to the lives, sometimes I'm going to talk about things that are on my mind, and I don't want to come off as repeating myself, even though I know I do. But I believe it's very important, and right now to many people this whole offsite ads thing is not important, but I'm going to be coming out with a video talking about offsite ads, kind of going over what eBay says about it, more than likely on my next video. I just want to let you guys know that's probably going to be the last time I talk about it, but at the same time it's important to understand that as we get moving into 2024, it's a very high likelihood that there's going to be more importance on your item's exposure. If you are using offsite ads or not, it's going to make a huge difference. And just like back in 2019 when I was doing the managed payments beta, it wasn't that big of a deal because most people were dealing with PayPal. But for me, I was using managed payments when most weren't, and it didn't become a really big topic until eBay really put it into play and made it a huge thing. And I feel, based on my experience and my discussions, that it's coming, guys. And no need to get worried about it. It is what it is. eBay is going, in my opinion, to remain a viable place to sell. And if you don't agree, you certainly can go to another platform. But I just wonder, if you don't agree that eBay is not a viable place to sell where you can make money, why are you wasting your time on this platform? It's a fair question. So it's always about the money. That's why I'm here. The traffic is here. And once the traffic goes away entirely and eBay becomes bonanza where I'm not making money, then I'll go somewhere else. But until then, it's about the money. I'm here. And I think most serious sellers should include eBay in their list of sites that they're listing on. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't do that at all. I mean, certainly consider cross-posting to other sites. You can check out the cross-listing tool Vendoo that I have a link down below. You can save 25% off your first month and maybe check it out and see if you like it. I certainly know just from experience working with it today that it is a time saver. So just something for you to consider. But focus on the money, guys. Focus on not how many items you put into your store. Focus on how much value you put in. And then focus on how much you're getting paid. And if you're satisfied with that, then keep doing what you're doing. If you're not satisfied with that, find things that you can do. Don't wait for eBay. Find things that you can do to improve your situation with reselling. And chances are, whether it's your schedule, maybe the amount of time you put into it, or even what you're buying to begin the process of this whole thing, and chances are you're going to find improvements in the bottom line, and that's what you're making, and that's all that matters. But figuring this all out is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy, and I want you to check out one of these videos here, and in the meantime, have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.